Okay, everybody, welcome back. In just a second here, we will have James O'Keefe in studio joining us about his new film, Line in the Sand. It is terrific. I don't even want to play any of the trailers or anything until James is here. Let's go to some of the latest news here out of Israel. Right now, it is clear that Iran has launched ballistic missiles into the interior of Israel. They did this in coordination with a mass shooting event that might have left about 10 people dead in Israel, in Jaffa. So let's play a piece of tape here. This is live or just about live footage, just a couple moments ago, of rockets being fired into the interior of Israel here. Missiles, I should say. Play cut 65.
Hold on. Okay, guys, we got to get off the roof. These are coming down right next to us here. They're coming down. One just about. We got to go inside.
So this is a live development here, and understand this is the world under Kamala Harris. Right now, you have dock worker strikes. You got Russia-Ukrainian war. You got Israel, Iran. You have widespread chaos. Chaos is everywhere right now. Mass shooting in Israel. Half the ports in the country are closed in a longshoreman strike, costing America billions every single day. North Carolina is still underwater with a death toll of over 130 and hundreds more still missing. October is full of surprises, and this is just the first day of October. And Kamala Harris, if she were to become president, will cripple the Western world as we know it. And now joining us is the legendary James O'Keefe. James, how we doing, man?
Hey, Charlie.
We are live on air.
Nice to see everyone.
James is here to talk about his new documentary, and James is a great American. And you're doing this with Tucker, is that right?
That's right.
So tell us about it, Line in the Sand.
Well, this is a very unique film, Charlie. It follows the journey of the illegal immigrants from their origin to their final destination. And it took me a year to make. And I think it shows people something they've never seen. I mean, it's called Line in the Sand because it's about the border, but it's not really about the border. It's about people doing things they don't want to do to earn a living. And you contrast a lot of the cowardly people with some of the brave people at the end of the film that blow the whistle on the Border Patrol. And it's really inspiring, and I think it will create a movement of people to blow the whistle.
Well, let's play some of the sound here and some of the tape. Let's play cut 40 from your new movie, Line in the Sand.
In the film Line in the Sand, coming out October 10th, a Border Patrol agent blows the whistle and made reference to people like Aaron, who get retaliated against for speaking up.
And when agents speak up, they're buried by management.
Buried by
I
management.
know a few whistleblowers that got toasted. They try to do what's right, laughed at, ostracized.
Really?
Buried.
So what is he talking about here? What is he trying to expose?
So that's Zach in the Border Patrol, and it's very rare you see a Border Patrol agent in uniform like that. It's against policy to do that. And he's talking about girls under the age of 14. They don't take their biometrics, and he sends children off to places they don't know where these unaccompanied children are going. So a lot of these guys really can't live with themselves. It weighs on them very heavily. And it's a crisis of conscience. So you see that in the film. You see Border Patrol agents. There's one scene where I'm standing face to face with the cartel, and they're cutting through the steel beam, the Trump wall in California. And I'm standing there. They're cutting through the beam. They're threatening me, and the Border Patrol agent is just standing there watching. So I think it looks at the crisis through a different kind of lens. It's very immersive. A lot of times we talk about these issues, but to actually be there and see it, I think it's very shocking.
So are you telling me that the American government, aka Border Patrol, are told to help facilitate young girls to go into sex slavery potentially?
That's how they feel. That's what they're telling me.
So we're subsidizing potentially Border Patrol agents to.
The government's also funding these unaccompanied child centers in Texas, Southwest Key. These other NGOs are being paid for by Health and Human Services, getting billions of dollars of funding to house these people. And my takeaway in the film is everyone's making money off of this. Everyone's enriching themselves off of this. Unfortunately, a lot of it is simply just about money. And that's why I was told this is not going to end, because you have to take away all these people's money for it to end. And I don't think people need to experience it to fully understand it. And I also rode the freight train. It's called the Beast Train in Mexico. My colleague was kidnapped by the cartel. I was detained by the Mexican army, and I secretly recorded all of this. So it's quite a
What
quite a
part of
journey.
Mexico?
This is in Irapuato,
Man, they
Mexico.
could have killed you, man.
Yes. Yeah, I was told when I was in Irapuato, the locals said, "You're crazy. You're going to get ransomed." But we were fortunate. We were lucky.
So help me understand and the audience understand the configuration of how the border works. Who's in charge?
The cartel. I just
But I thought they just care about drugs.
Well, I was just in Ajo yesterday. I interviewed a second Border Patrol agent. I think there's going to be dozens of people blowing the whistle, and he said the cartel runs this border. If they want to send 1,000 people across, then we process 1,000 people. They've become a processing organization, no longer a law enforcement organization, and they're very discouraged. And the only reason they're doing it is because of the pension and the money. That's what they tell me. And that may not shock you, but the thing about video, the thing about films is that I think that it's important to show things through a different lens. I think we see things, we talk about things retrospectively, but to actually live it, to actually journey with the illegal immigrant. I mean, I actually rode the train with the Venezuelans, and I think the film, it's I took all politics out of the film, Charlie. There's no politics in the film. It's just it's a humanitarian issue. And to see these, you have to experience this. I see these women with babies strapped to their chest, climbing aboard a moving freight train. I mean, you have to be inhuman to not care about, and they throw the babies on the train, and this is gruesome and horrific, but sometimes the Beast Train has no floor, and people get mutilated, and they say this is a humanitarian thing to have all these people come across the border. It's just, it weighs on people, and that's what the film is really about. It's about drawing the line in the literal sand and making a decision about whether we want to participate in this.
So you say that the cartel does whatever they want on the border.
Mm-hmm.
So our government is subservient to a foreign
That's
drug
what the
gang?
Border Patrol agents tell me. And I mean, they're making $10,000 a head. So
The cartels are.
Yes, $10,000 per person. And that's what I was told. And they threatened me, by the way. They said, they're cutting through, and they're saying, you have to let us finish this work. As the Border Patrol agent stands there and watching, I'm a layman, and I'm thinking, why don't you just shoot those guys? They're cutting through.
Yeah, why doesn't the U.S. Border Patrol take out weapons and kill the cartel guys?
Why don't they arrest them or something? That's what
why don't they, though?
They arrest me. So
But why doesn't the Border Patrol do their job? They want their pension so badly?
they want it's all about the pension. It's all about the money. And you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
I mean, listen. This is a harder question. Listen, I'm the first one to come out and say you guys need to do the right thing. And Charlie, as I speak, there are dozens of agents that are on the fence, but they've got kids, they've got mortgages, they've got wives who tell them not to do it. And this is why the film is called Line in the Sand, because you have a couple agents who are insanely brave. A guy named Aaron Vecchi, just yesterday, I sent this video to you and your producer, blew the whistle on the Ajo facility. And he said, it's going to get to a point where my granddaughter is going to ask me, what did you do, grandfather, about this? So these are really difficult questions to answer. And
I just want to make sure I'm clear. And again, I'm not here to attack rank and file people because most people are cowards, right? That's just the country we live in. But just to be clear, Border Patrol, they are knowingly processing girls into sex slavery, and they don't want to stop it because they want to make sure they get paid.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes total sense, by the way. Like that's the story of America, is that
Yes.
I care far more about my paycheck. Girls into sex slavery, don't care. Rape the 13-year-old. I want my money.
But it's tearing them apart.
Oh, good.
It's
I'm
tearing
glad.
their
I mean,
conscience apart.
Obviously, like, why don't you quit in disgrace? Like, I don't understand. Like, go become a priest or something.
It's
Like, why would who are these people actually?
they're struggling in the deepest parts of
Yeah, I know.
themselves.
I hear this a lot, though. It makes perfect sense how the evils of the 20th century happen now. Because, I mean, you have right here, people say, oh, how is it that, the gulags happen under Stalin? I mean, look right here. You have these American Border Patrol, great guys, and they say, oh, here you go, 12-year-old girl. Yeah, no biometrics. Go be raped. Mm-hmm. But at least I get a paycheck.
That's exactly what's happening. Yes, and it's you see it in the eyes of Zach Apotheker, who At the end of the film, it's going to be hard for you to not to cry when you watch.
We're going to play the full trailer after the break. Sure. Email me freedom@charliekirk.com. That's the story of the West. I want money. I don't care if girls are becoming slaves. That's America. We'll be right back. Okay, everybody. I want to play the trailer here. I actually might wait to the next segment to do that. I'm trying to make sure that we are still on Real America's Voice. We are. Good. So James, how are you doing?
Busy. Busy.
I mean, you've had an interesting year and a half.
Yeah.
And you're still slugging, man.
Yeah.
I want everyone to understand that, when James and I talk down to some of these Border Patrol agents who are basically co-sponsors of sex slavery, look at what James has gone through. You've given it all. And I haven't given everything, but you and I can kind of talk from authority here. We know what it's like to not have the easy life and to go do difficult things. I don't have a lot of sympathy for people that do evil for money. I just don't.
It's tough. There's a part of me that sympathizes. There's a part of me that has to empathize. But what happened with me and you're talking about like the Veritas thing, the company I founded. I lost everything. They escorted me out of the building that I built with my sister, and it was very hard. But I think God had a plan, and maybe I didn't know what that plan was. And I spent a year making this film. I spent a couple months on the border. I spent 3 months in post-production. I'm the director. I didn't delegate it to somebody. I didn't hire it. No, I actually was in that at Los Angeles edit room for four months. So I would not have been allowed the opportunity to do that had I not been fired from Veritas.
This is your first film.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's a theatrical movie. It's like the thing you'd see in movie theaters. Now, Charlie, a lot of people say, well, we already know the border is broken. We already know this. I said, no, you don't. Most films either hire actors or they're retrospective. Most documentaries are, they're commentaries. They interview people. There is no. The film starts with me embedded with the cartel. So this is a very unique film. And I'm grateful that I was able to make it. It's my vision. I had to fight a lot of storytellers who told me to do it a different way, but I did it the way that I wanted to do it. And like I said, I rode the beast, the freight train with the Venezuelans. I was detained. My colleague was kidnapped by the cartel. They put a hood over his face, took a crowbar, destroyed his cameras. We escaped with the SD chip. So it's some pretty riveting stuff, and I think it'll wake people up.
So, James, why is it that most conservative media and no left-wing media has done this obvious reporting? I mean, this is the human rights issue of our time. You and I grew up in the conservative movement, always being lectured by left-wingers about how we're an evil country because we had chattel slavery in the 16, 17, 1800s, which we agree, slavery is evil. But this is slavery, is it not? Why is no one covering this? And is it fair to say, James, that this is a form of slavery?
I think the unaccompanied children aspect of this, the 500,000 children in 3 years, people don't realize unaccompanied migrant, immigrant children are being housed in facilities that no one has ever heard of. Sunny Glen facility, Southwest Keys. Most people don't know these places even exist. They're secret. We actually snuck into these places, Charlie. Snuck in. And you might say, why isn't anybody else doing that? Well, it's dangerous. It's, my colleagues are either brave or insane or both. I don't know. Lawyers cautioning us you might get prosecuted. So it's scary work. It's dangerous work. People don't want to shake the apple cart. And also, Charlie, journalism, by and large, there's not a lot of money in it. It's tough. Investigative work, you take months to do this work. There's no really reward in it. You get sued. You might get jailed. You might get shot. For all these aforementioned reasons, people choose not to do it. But we did it. And I think the film is, I think this one is going to be, I think this might change things.
How do people, so explain the Tucker partnership.
Yeah, I mean, so we made the film and Tucker, TCN, which is, I think Tucker's got a massive presence and a massive name. He's going into long-form programming, so, much like a Netflix. So tuckercarlson.com/line-in-the-sand is where you can stream the film, and we have an exclusive deal with him for 60 days. So that's where you can watch the film, and then it'll go wider after that. We have a premiere next Tuesday in in Los Angeles, and we'll have a few theatrical events around the country. But right now, it's through Tucker exclusively.
And for independent and swing voters, why is it important they see this film?
I think the first step is recognizing that there is a problem and the nature of the problem. And I don't think this film is a political film, Charlie. And I'm an artist, and I tend to, I focus on telling a story through a different type of lens. I don't think this film is, if anything, it comes from a bleeding heart perspective. Like, when I was with the Venezuelans, it changed me. I think there needs to be a secure border. I think they need to go in legally. But I saw it as a humanitarian issue. And I think if people understand the nature of the issue, and I think that it'll affect people who are on the left. I mean, there's going to be extreme forms of people, but I think on the peripheral aspects, I think it'll affect and change hearts and minds.
We will play the trailer after the break and ask more questions. James O'Keefe is with us. How do people, TuckerCarlson.com?
Lineinthesand.com, TuckerCarlson.com/lineinthesand.
Be right back with James O'Keefe.
Saves lives. The Charlie Kirk Show is back.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and subscribe to our podcast. Open up your podcast application and type in Charlie Kirk Show. Okay, let's play the trailer here. Anything you want to say before we play the trailer, James?
No, go ahead and play it.
It must speak for itself then. Play cut 66.
We got an unaccompanied minor right here, guys. This is heartbreaking right here.
See the handcuffs? Those criminals are being put with the kids?
Yep.
They're putting the criminals with the kids.
Does sacrificing your value system and integrity to feed your family make you a bad person?
They're putting blinders on right now to stop us from seeing what's happening.
There seemed to be an internal struggle between doing what people perceived as the morally right thing and pursuing their livelihood.
You can't move 500,000 children in 3 years if you're asking a lot of questions.
Maybe it's all just human nature. Maybe the powers that be know that.
That is cartel.
Stop the car. Stop the car. Where are you going? This is very upsetting.
They're right there. Get down.
They're in the secret facility right now. It's just all about money. There's a car right there. They got ladders. Right now.
With me, all the migrants. They're headed north.
It's not about people.
How much money are you making off of this crisis?
$1 billion.
Every single agent knows deep in his heart what's going on is wrong.
I know you're just trying to do your job.
We're taking children, we're then delivering them to people who they don't even know.
Okay. What's happening inside that facility?
You know what's happening here?
They all protect each other. The NGOs,
They got some spotlight on us.
the federal government. This is dangerous. I don't think we can trust anybody. America, we made it.
Everything on the wall!
Follow the journey of the immigrants,
I can't do this, guys.
the journey of the children,
Oh, this is big time. We're in a cartel tunnel now, dog.
We're in a cartel.
and the journey into human nature. Some things can't be read in a book or a newspaper. They must instead be lived.
There's nobody here to stop this. There's nobody.
Wow. Any thoughts there, James? I have lots of questions.
Go ahead with the questions, and then we'll get into it.
Someone said they're making $1 million off of this. What was that all about?
Yeah, that was one of the guys in New York City who was giving fake residencies out to illegal immigrants and making money off of it, making $1,100 per individual, and the individuals that he was taking advantage of in the film come forward from Ecuador and tell us he's a fraud. So we caught some people on hidden camera doing some illegal things in this movie, and it actually is shocking. I wouldn't say it's surprising. I think it's shocking.
So how much money is being made on this?
I mean, big money. For example, in Texas, Health and Human Services is a $1 trillion agency. I know you know that, but maybe your audience doesn't know the extent of it. Tara Rodas is a whistleblower at HHS. $1 trillion agency funding all these facilities to house all these children. And the people in the movie tell me, it actually kind of is surprising they say these. Maybe I'm really good at my job. Maybe I got lucky. I don't know. We need the children to keep coming so that we can keep making money. They actually say this. It's like, but don't you have a conscience? Like, don't you worry? It's like, no, we need the people to keep coming across. And we're talking bus companies, Damaris Company, GS4. I never even knew these companies existed. So many companies. One company in California making $100 million transporting all these illegal immigrants. So I wanted to name names. And the guy in New York there, in Astoria, stamping forms. I went undercover as a Ukrainian immigrant, stamping the form, James O'Keefe, here's your free residency, here's your free bracelet.
On the American side or the...
This is in New York City. I went into Roosevelt Hotel, which is in Manhattan, and they gave us a free bracelet, a free plane ticket, this is a joke. This is a national disgrace. And
so wait, let me just pause you. So you pretended to be a Ukrainian immigrant, and you got a free hotel room, and free flights,
like Borat, going in.
Yeah, but Americans couldn't go on vacation this summer because things are too expensive.
That's right. Yeah, yes. The Roosevelt Hotel near Times Square. I went in there. They gave us this bracelet with a number, and in a post 9/11 America, a guy can just walk in there, get a free flight. They even gave us, our facility in New York City, Randall's Island. They even gave us an ID. So it's like, it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to see it. So we traced the origin in the film. My vision was to go from origin, that's Irapuato, Mexico. That's where they all come, get on the train, the freight train, all the way to New York City. We cross with them. We go to San Diego into the parking lot.
Wait, when you crossed with them, did you cross as an American?
This was the people I rode the train with. We put cameras on them when they went through the fence.
I know, but how did you cross?
Well, I was detained by the Mexican army, and I put a hidden camera in my watch and recorded all of it. Some of this you got to watch the film.
But did you claim asylum when you came across?
Well, eventually my cover was blown, and I'm from the Estados Unidos, so I was detained by the Mexican authorities, and I could have been killed. And what they crossed in El Paso in New Mexico area, actually through a graded wall, we put audio devices on the fence to listen to the cartel talking to each other. You actually get to hear what they say.
What did they say?
Well, they talked about how they need to make money.
Yeah, of course.
It's all about, people think there's this big conspiracy, and there might be, but at the bottom line is that at the end of the day, it's all about money. And we're talking big money, tens of billions. And how are we going to take all that money away from people? In Mexico, they assassinate people if they tried to hold the cartel accountable. I think in this country, they use leverage against people if they try to hold anybody accountable. So it requires extreme courage from a select few. And that's what the film is really about. And when you get to the ending of the film, you better bring your Kleenex because you're going to cry when you do see the men who stand up. Very brave people. And it makes you question the purpose of life and the purpose of materialism. The line that we all have to draw, as Solzhenitsyn said in Gulag Archipelago, where do you draw the line? Do you choose your conscience or do you choose your livelihood? These are very deep questions that I explore.
So this is important, and I hope you get this. Seems as if in the trailer you really pinpoint this, and I want the audience here to email me freedom@charliekirk.com your thoughts and your opinions. Do you think that the majority of Border Patrol agents are good and admirable people when they say, "I'm just doing my job," and they're processing how many hundreds of thousands, James?
Oh God, hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of girls and young kids into prostitution. Is the Border Patrol blameless? Should we hold them accountable? Should we treat them, nicely? Email me, freedom@charliekirk.com. Are they victims? Are they just bystanders, or should we hold them higher? James, I'm guessing in the documentary, it seems as if that is a theme that you kind of laced into is, okay, yes, we can blame the cartels, but why are American Border Patrol who swear an oath, why are they getting a free pass?
It's in many ways, it's human nature. Like you said, people are followers. There's one scene in the film that really struck me where there's a Portuguese guy standing. He's got tatted up, dangerous looking guy, and he's standing right in front, about 100 meters in front of a Border Patrol car with two guys sitting in it, and they're just sitting there watching him. And I say, and the guy goes, and he says in Portuguese, I got a translator, he says, "I want to be detained. I want to be caught. You want to be caught. So I bring him over to the Border Patrol car, and the guys are like, yeah, thank you. And they get out and detain him. And I said, but he was standing there like a statue in front of you. Why didn't you detain him? And he goes, yes, thank you for letting us know he was there. They just seemed like, I'm like, why are our tax dollars paying for all? What is going on? And I think these guys, what they tell me is they just need that paycheck. And I think that what we can do is create a movement. I think we're going to create a movement of 50 to 100 Border Patrol agents in lockstep, blowing the whistle. We have a group called Citizen Journalism Foundation, which pays their legal bills, covers their attorney fees. My vision is to get a bunch of these guys to step forward because they can't destroy them all if they step forward.
Yeah, but here, where's Congress? Why is Congress not giving whistleblower protections to all these Border Patrol agents for being...
I'm not going to name names, but so I'm not naming names on the record, but some of these senators and Congress members have told me point blank, face to face, James, there's nothing we can do.
Republicans?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. So you said something somebody said something in the trailer that I think was the most powerful line. You can't get 500,000 kids into the country without help.
Without asking. So Tara Rodas said, she's a HHS
Yeah, make sure I
whistleblower.
say this correctly.
Tara Rodas said in the film, mic drop moment, you can't move 500,000 unaccompanied immigrant children in 3 years if you're asking a lot of questions. Her point was...
That's so good.
And we talk about this in the film. You can't. It's a liability for the Biden administration to even poke around this issue. They're putting unaccompanied children into sponsors' home. What is a sponsor? Unlike the the system we have for children in America, they don't even ask if these people are criminals. No. They don't ask if they're legal. So these kids are being raped. They're being pimped out, and you can't ask questions about it, Charlie, because it slows the process down.
So, but the Border Patrol agents don't ask questions either?
They can't. They're processing people. All they do is process people. Yeah. There's nothing they can do. They can resign.
So basically they are facilitating...
Facilitators.
They're the sex trade.
Yes. Yes.
I think more highly of Border Patrol than that. It's so sad.
Well, maybe you should rethink that after watching this movie.
James O'Keefe, the movie is Line in the Sand. Please email me. We're getting lots of emails right now, freedom@charliekirk.com. Do you think we should hold the rank and file of any organization blameless? It could be police, could be FBI, it could be whatever it is, if they're facilitating an evil, something as dark as child sex slavery? Or should we just say, hey, they're just doing their job, they don't want to get reprimanded? How should we morally grade the Border Patrol? Email us freedom@charliekirk.com. Okay, everybody, James O'Keefe is with us. I am curious. Keep emailing us, freedom@charliekirk.com. How do we morally judge, if you will, a person who is facilitating evil for a paycheck? Let's play cut 41 from James O'Keefe's film.
Border Patrol agent Aaron Vecchi has been in the Border Patrol for over 19 years in Tucson sector in Ajo, Arizona. He witnessed atrocities of immigrant children burning up in the desert heat under a makeshift canopy at the Border Patrol station at 150 North Highway in Ajo. He witnessed children freezing in the winter. He even captured never-before-seen videos that he provided to us, which we are publishing here.
So what's going on in those videos, James? And then we have the interview with him, too.
Yes, that was actually not from the film. That was the interview I did in Ajo. That was a Border Patrol agent that blew the whistle yesterday as a result of Border Patrol agent Zach, who's in the film. And this is in Ajo, Arizona, about 2 hours southwest of here. And he witnessed atrocities, these illegal immigrants, a humanitarian issue. And his patrol agents, his supervisors told him, they put a boot on his neck and said, you got to go do this anyway and follow our orders. And he said, I can't in good conscience do this. He blew the whistle. He went to OSC. They sent him a cease and desist letter. Zach, the Border Patrol agent in the film, Charlie, has also just been sent a cease and desist letter for appearing in the film. So my vision is to have 20, 30, 40, 50 agents step forward, all in lockstep. I think the only way this changes is if people all stand up together, whistleblowing in tandem. That's what I think needs to happen. I think it will happen.
Let's see Agent Vecchi from the Tucson sector play cut 42.
And what's important to me is that when my granddaughter's old enough and she's in high school and she comes to me and says, Grandpa, Tata, Aaron, she says, what were you doing? Weren't you in the Border Patrol back then? I can look at her with a straight face and say, baby girl, I was trying. I tried. I fought and I tried. I did my best, you know? And I don't fire me, you know? Maybe they will. Maybe after this they will, you know? But my conscience will be clean.
It's powerful stuff there. He's saying, fire me or retire me. He's currently employed. He's been in the Border Patrol for 19 years. He's a tracker, and he's an amazing tracker, very fast walker. It's hard for me to keep up with him. And he's saying, I care about my conscience more than my pension.
But hold on, I got to interrupt. Sorry, we're running out of time here. According to the federal government, there's whistleblowers.gov, which is a congressionally chartered law that allows whistleblowers. Have these guys gone through that process?
Yes, he has.
And they're ignored.
He was sent a cease and desist letter.
From the Border
From
Patrol?
the Border Patrol.
So
Yes.
Mayorkas sent a cease and desist letter.
He's the commander-in-chief, yes. He's the CEO of that
So,
agency.
but I have to wonder, like, where are the Republican leaders then stepping in and saying, we're going to protect you?
The system is systemically corrupt. Everything is broken. And the only way to fix it is for people to do what these guys are doing. That's what they're telling me. They went to Office of Special Counsel. They were still sent a cease and desist letter. The only solution that I can see is for all of these Border Patrol agents to come forward, be courageous. We're all going to die. The question is, what is your price? And at the end of the day, you got a few brave men here who are leading the way. And I think other people will follow.
The emails are overwhelming here. The audience says you are not innocent if you are participating in this. And I think that is that's really the through line of your film, is to try to prompt everyday Americans to no longer be okay with just cashing a check while seeing evil.
That's right.
Is that fair?
That's exactly right.
And that seems to be a pattern of your life's
That's
work.
a pattern of my life's work. That's what I've had to live through. That's what I've witnessed. I haven't faced it the way they have. Faced it in different ways. And your price has to be your life. If your price is not your life, then I guess you're for sale. And are you okay with being for sale? Is your integrity for sale? Where do you draw that line? These are tough questions. These are the questions I explore in the film. And I think it's going to shake people awake. And I know there will be more Border Patrol agents like Aaron Vecchi and Zach. Stay tuned.
I was only doing my job, is what many people will say.
That's what they say in the film. Yeah. That's a biblical concept right there. That's a tale as old as time. And this is the crossroads in American history right here, right now. There's no place we'd rather be. And this is my Braveheart speech. When you have your pension many years from now and you're tucked in your bed and you're nice and comfortable, what would you give for just one chance to go back to October 2024 and stand up and, I have children, I have grandchildren. I respect that. Maybe your children will respect you more if you were a man and you did the right thing. Maybe your children would actually respect you more. I'm not even sure you're going to have grandchildren the way this country is headed, Charlie.
Yeah, and God willing, we win the election in November, and all these guys then could be directed to do virtuous things.
That's right. That's possible, too. And I think a lot of them are banking on that.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are hoping and praying that Trump wins and that they'll be empowered to do the right thing.
You got to praise if it depends on God and act if it depends on you.
Okay, everybody, what a great film, Line of the Sand. Check it out. Tell your friends. James, God bless you. We're behind you 100%.
God bless.
Third hour coming up with Dinesh D'Souza and Steve Moore.